Welcome and thanks for joining me. I would like to show you a little game that I found on Steam, which I found quite interesting, and actually I'm enjoying playing this quite a bit. And so what this is about is the game Cyclopean: The Great Abyss. And if you take a look at my channel, I have covered some Lovecraft-inspired games. You know, games inspired by the works of H.P. Lovecraft. I also have played some old school games, like the old Ultima games from the 80s. I have a full playthrough of Ultima 1, an almost completed playthrough of Ultima 4, and this game combines both of these things. It's an RPG, very old schooly, inspired by H.P. Lovecraft. The game was developed by one guy. He's pretty active on Steam and on Discord, so if you decide to check this out, if you find a bug, if you have a question, a suggestion, he will react usually, and he also puts out regular updates, so that's pretty good to see. And now before we dive in, H.P. Lovecraft, of course, a lot of people know stories like The Case of Charles Dexter Ward, Mountains of Madness, stories like that, but he also wrote some very fantasy style stories. For example, The Cats of Ulthar or Dream Quest of Unknown Kadath. And that is the one that this game seems to be very much inspired by. And the Kadath story is pretty much, it features Randolph Carter, who was the alter ego of H.P. Lovecraft. And in his dreams, he managed to go to this fantasy world. And he traveled through that world and you know, had some adventures there. It's quite a bit different from, say, Mountains of Madness or whatever, Shadow Out of Time. It's not my favorite story by Lovecraft. I enjoyed his other stories more, but I found it quite interesting that someone actually said, okay, I'm gonna make a game based on this. So, as you can see, it's pretty old school, but unless you say, oh god, I can't deal with those old school type graphics, you really should check it out if you're into RPGs. So I could show you my current game, but let's instead start a new one. And the first thing that you do is you roll your character, and it's recommended by the developer on the Steam page to carefully roll. So don't just, you know, click and then run with the first character you get. There are some things that you want to consider. For example, your stats. Certain weapons, certain equipment require certain stats, you know, to use them, like strength, skill, and mind. And as you can see, there's also a value called allies, because there are different factions, different races in this game, and if you're allied with them, you can have them help you. Or, you know, if you're not allied with them, they may attack you. Also, if you ally with a certain faction, other factions may be hostile towards you. So those things, you know, should be considered. And you can reroll several times. And as you can see, I just rerolled, and you can see this character, Herbert Montague Bonham, is allied with the Man of Lang. And you can see his clothes with protection and sneak as a bonus, and his weapon. This looks a little better, however the stats kind of suck, 3, 4, and 5. And this one, it's a little bit better, more strength, but then again, you know, it depends on what kind of weapon you have. We will figure this out later. And so let's just roll a few more times. This has got pretty high strength. Okay, so we have 5 strength, 4 skill, 3 mind. We can, of course, level and raise those stats later on. He's allied with the Zooks, which is one of the races. He's got fair clothes, which give a bonus to protection and sneak, and a shoddy dagger, which does +4 damage. So, let's accept Cedric L. Ward Sr. And these are the game graphics. Now, before I get into that, the game does have controller support. I'm not using a controller, I'm playing this with mouse and keyboard, but you know, it's good to know that if you want to use a controller, That's an option. And you've got the menu. The main menu will let you save and load at any time. You can have several different save games, which is nice. This will show you your character stats. It will also allow you to level up once you have the required experience. You can see your experience on the left. Right now I've got 0. The next level up will be at experience 100. And got your inventory. All of this looks pretty basic, and once again, if you say, oh my god, this is too old school, this is too basic, I cannot deal with this, then well, skip the game. But if you're into Lovecraft, if you grew up playing games like Ultima 1 to 5, or like to, you know, play little indie games where the graphics are not the most deciding factor, then you may want to check it out. I actually have to say I like this style. You know, with the music going on in the background, with those kind of shoddy graphics, it's pretty cool, I have to say. So, we've got our shoddy dagger, it's equipped right now. And we can go to the next page where we've got armor and clothes. Our supplies, we've got 1 torch, got no books, no keys. And that's pretty much that. And then we've got allies, which I will show you in a little while, hopefully. Captives, you can actually, if you get a rope, you can, or a net, you can capture enemies. Then we've got the manual, which is pretty cool. You can open this at any point, go through it, it will explain to you the basic controls. As you can see, we've got WASD controls. When we're in dungeons, I'll get to that part in a second, we can turn left and turn right. And then we've got some other shortcuts. There is more explanations on the different stats. For example, as you can see, wits, we've got HP, and we've got wits. Wits, this is a measure of your sanity and is a resource to be managed. So you don't want to run out of that. Typical thing for Lovecraft, right? So here are the allies. Some dreamers start with an alliance to one of the creatures of the underworld. Once gained, allies can fight for you. And they also boost your abilities. Zooks, cats, ghouls, and the Man of Lang are all potential allies from the start of the game. Other creatures can also become allies if you find the right books and you have enough mind to read them. I'm not gonna read the whole thing through for you. Let's check it out. One important thing, and I will show you this hopefully in a second or in a few minutes, is just like Akalabath, the predecessor of Ultima 1, and Ultima 1 itself, for example, this has an overworld map that you travel on. Once you go into a dungeon, the perspective will change and it will be first-person view. So I'm controlling this with WASD. As you can see, you can also use the arrow keys that I can click. And, you know, you can just travel around, and as you can see, there are some characters that are a bit hard to make out at first. First, like, the whole thing is a bit confusing. We see paths, we see these mushroom trees, and here is the first combat. There's that spider coming up pretty aggressively, so let's hope we survive this. And the combat is also pretty basic, you will see this. Let me move. Okay, so I have 3 options now. I'm engaged with the spider. I can either try to stealth by, which is an option, that's a skill check. I can have a dialogue with it, and as you can see, the enemy refuses to converse with you, and so I can try to flee, I can yield, I can marshal. Marshal is if I have an ally with me who's in my group, kinda. I can click on them and then say appoint, and they will fight for me. They will take damage, they can, you know, get severely hurt, but if you use an ally like that, they will, you know, do the attack for you, so, you know, the monster will not attack you. But since we don't have an ally, let's try to attack. And that is pretty much what the combat looks like. As you can see, I swung, and, you know, I delivered 10 damage, and then the enemy swings at me, took some of my damage away. Again, so I just keep doing this. And as you can see, that's pretty difficult at first. And I may even die. No, I didn't. Okay, so that was the first combat. And you can see all of this in the combat log, which you can scroll down. And as you can see, it almost took me out. And what I can do now is move onto the corpse and try to see if it does any loot. It doesn't. So let us see. What I wanted to do was talk to this. This is a Zook, as you can see. And as you may remember from the character creation, I am allied with Zooks. So there's a potential that I can recruit them for my group. So let's have a dialogue. And you have these options: align, which asks the Zook to join you, and agrees to engage and desires Moonwine, right? So I tried to recruit him and it says he needs Moonwine. So if I want him to join me, I have to find that Moonwine. So let's talk to him again. This time we're gonna see if he can trade anything. And as you can see, he's got the Moon Papyrus, which is something you can read. Requires 25 mind. I'm very far away from that. And it also has a copper key, which costs, which he will charge me 6 gold for. Anyway, another thing I can do is I can talk to him and ask about the things I've discovered so far. I can ask him about Zooks, and that is how you will get a little bit of lore. And it will also give you some XP. And let's go to the next page, Great Abyss. And as you can see, I am getting new inquiries. So by keywords, things that the character mentions, I actually get new things I can ask about. A little bit like in the old games, like in the Ultima games, you would say job, and then someone would say, I'm the guardian of this castle, and then you would type castle, because this is a new keyword, and then he will, the character will elaborate, and so on. So let's click on Dreamlands. This world is our only home. When we sleep, we do not dream of other worlds. Enchanted Wood. See, and as you can see, there is quite a few things that we can discover. So I am gonna leave this conversation. Hopefully we'll find some Moonwine, and let's explore a bit. And as you can see there in the water up here, there's this bubbling thing. I'm gonna spoil this for you. This is a tentacle which hits incredibly hard, and if you get beaten by it, it will steal some of your equipment. So let me see. This right here is a vendor, and you can try to attack it, you can try to stealth, or you can have a dialogue. It will probably not align with me. Nope. And let me see. Can I inquire again to uncover more keywords, hopefully. There we go. Koth. Its ancient towers are known to me. It is rumored to connect to the Enchanted Wood. So what we also can do is trade, and he will sell us stuff. He will sell us a net, and it will cost us 312 gold, and with that we can capture an enemy. It sells a dagger, which is pretty much the same. I have a shoddy hide, which will give me a bit more protection, but no bonus to sneaking. Bandages, lockpick, a tent, which is pretty important, but I don't have the funds to buy this, and a large ruby. The large ruby is an item, for example, that the Men of Lang, if you're allied with them and you want to invite one of them to your group, he will ask you for a large ruby. So the thing that I would like the most would be the tent, because the tent will allow you to set up a camp only once, and that camp will stay there. So if I would use it right here, the tent would be in this position and would stay in this position. I cannot pick it up again and carry it with me. I always have to return here. And once I'm in my tent and I pass some time, I heal and recover health and wits. So that's pretty handy, but I don't have the money for this. The inventory of the merchants change when you return later on. So let us explore a bit more, and I will try and show you. This will probably get me killed because I currently don't have really an option to heal, do I? I don't think I have anything to heal with. Let me see if I can. I have 188 gold. So let us get a bandage And if I remember correctly, the amount healed by the bandage is dependent on your wits. So let's use this. You regain 14 life and now have 29 of 81. Let's do it again. Again, 14 life. Okay, we healed a little bit. We're at 43 of 81 HP. So let me try and show you a dungeon. Once again, what I would usually do is run around here, explore the area, kill some enemies to level up, increase my stats, hopefully find a companion to join me, and then I would try my first dungeon. But let's see if we can get into it. Oops, we are being attacked by a ghoul. Let's try to avoid that fight. And let's try and sneak by. It worked. I am now hidden from the ghoul for 5 turns. And that is probably because I got a bonus for sneaking from the piece of armor I'm wearing. This will not always work. As you can see, I always also would have had a chance to pilfer him, to ambush him. So yeah, I'm just trying to make it to the dungeon so I can show you a tiny little bit of the dungeon. So here we go. And now we are in Ghoul's Crack for the first time, which gave us a bit more XP. And that also means we can level up a little bit. As you can see, we are at 219 XP. And as I said before, or as we saw before, at 100 there was the first level up. So let's level up our character. And let's give him a bit more skill, because I remember that some of the weapons are pretty skill dependent. Can also increase our HP a little bit. Let's do that, and let's increase our strength. And let's put one more point in mind. I don't have like a perfect guide on how to distribute your stat points. Eventually you will find some weapons on the vendor and you will see, okay, you know, I would like this weapon, like a Khopesh or something. So I need like a lot of skill. So that's worth leveling for. Alrighty, I leveled up, and as you can see, that fortunately put me back to full health. And now this is the first person view in dungeons. And I have to say, yes, this looks a bit crude, a bit shoddy, but at the same time I love this vibe. This reminds me very much of some of the games in the 80s, has a wonderful old school vibe. I also find it fits the atmosphere quite well. So I can move like this, and this has like a almost dreamlike quality, or like an old movie quality, which I really like. So we are in Ghoul's Crack. We're on floor 0, and on the left and at the bottom you can see there's an auto map feature, which will draw a map of what I explore. I guess I should turn on a torch. Alrighty, torch. And as you can see, the map keeps building, and I just stepped into spikes. These are hard to avoid. I can also search by pressing the spacebar. And what this does is, if I hit the button, it will search a tile in front of me. I just did this. Sometimes you may find something, but this time it said you find something unspeakable in the darkness. And as you can see, my wits took 1 damage to say so. Okay, let's take a look around. Let's move this way. Got a door. Spikes again, as you can see. We lost again some HP. This has been criticized by at least 1 or 2 people in the forums, saying, you know, these spikes, I don't know, they feel like a mandatory HP tax or something. I don't mind that much, especially if you take some bandages. I mean, I'm doing this dungeon run right now just to show you what it looks like. I would gear up a bit more before I'd head into a dungeon, get some better equipment, get an ally, get some bandages, and some tea to recover my wits. But for now, you know, let's check this out and see how far we get, which will probably not that far, because I'm sure something will kill us shortly. Alrighty, so let's move on, just explore the map. The auto map feature is quite nice. I mean, if you want to, and you really want an old school vibe, you can take some graph paper and draw your own map. Just ignore this one. But then again, you know, this is pretty nice. Okay, we've got an encounter, and this is level 3 ghoul, and he will probably kill me considering he's level 3. I've got the option to try dialogue with him, and it says the ghoul refuses to converse with you, and I don't have a companion. I can try and yield, or I can try to attack, so let's do that. He only has 31 HP, which doesn't look like much, but look at his other stats. He's got 12 strength, 16 skill, so he'll probably hit me often and hard. Okay, I'm at 59 HP. Enemy is demotivated. You might try stealth or dialogue again. So let's see. Let's try the dialogue. And now the creature reluctantly agrees to talk. So let's see. I can ask him about these topics. Crack is our home here. The ghoul refuses to speak of this. Gives you a bit more information. And what he just said, let me see, about traders. Our trader is the only one left out in the open. The others have all gone into hiding. There are, I think, 5 or 6 different traders out there. We only met one of them. So hopefully I'll find the other ones too. The ghoul refuses to speak of ghouls, but that's fine. And let's see if you can trade. We actually can. You can sell us a silver key or another torch, which is pretty nice. So let us buy another torch. And he just did some damage to my wits because I tried to interact with him again. He will of course not align with me, so let's try and hit him. He's got 14 HP left, 7, and I won. I'm actually surprised because I had situations where I would not hit at all and would get killed pretty quickly. You can see the more elaborate combat information here in the screen. And let me explore. I just got that silver key. I don't get the money back apparently. Oh, I actually did get money back. You can see you found 27 gold coins. It wasn't listed in the inventory. I got it though because I looted his corpse. So let's move on a little bit. I'm gonna search in between. I have not figured out quite how often you find something while searching, but there's always that risk that there is damage to your wits that kind of like drives you insane. So we've got a door. We can try to pick it, but we don't have lockpicks. I can try to unlock it, and it requires a copper key. So as you can see, you know, copper key, silver key, we saw different doors require different keys. So let's try to bash it. And as you can see, it requires 11 strength to bash it open. So I took damage trying to bash it open. Well, let me try again. So no way to get in here. Let me see if there's something else. These are all dead ends. You will also run into Zooks in here. I've seen that before. You will run into more ghouls, and I ran into spikes. There's also some treasure chests in between. A door that wasn't locked. And we've got a level 4 ghoul. So this will probably be my end. And I'm attacking. He's attacking me. I'm down to 18. And that is that. So, I'm dead. Pretty old school, pretty tough. So let us see. We can either start a new game. I'm gonna show you my save game, my most recent one. This is my current character. So you can see it's level 8. It's got 20 strength, 14 skill, 40 wits. And I'm actually in front of that dungeon. And I'm in a tent. So if I would take some damage here, I could actually go into that tent and press the spacebar to pass some time, and then I would heal. So let me take a look at my inventory. Got, this looks like pretty decent equipment for John into the dungeon. I've got different torches, lockpicks. I've got a Saucer of Cream, which if I remember correctly will recover my wits. I've got some books that I can try to read. It requires 14 mind though. I'm too stupid, I guess, to read this. And I've got a bunch of keys. And I've got different weapons. A fair spear. You can see the different stats here. So let me show you. I've also got allies. So you can see I've got 3 men of Lang with me. One is already level 4. And so let me show you if I can see. Let's see if I can find an enemy. There's one right over there. Just have to get to him. And let me show you what the combat looks like if you use your allies. This is a level 1 ghoul. And I cannot talk to him. As you can see, the ghoul will not talk in the presence of its enemies. Man of Lang or moon beasts blocked. So I guess we'll have to attack him. And I'm going to use the martial command now. And I'm going to tell my level 4 Man of Lang to attack him. And as you can see, 11 damage delivered. Allies total defense 30%. Total damage 16. Enemy swing 82. So as you can see, the ghoul is almost dead. I was almost a one-hit kill. And now I can try to talk to him again. And now he will actually talk to me. Let me see. Nope. Let's do dialogue. Inquire. Can ask him about these different topics. I've done that though. By the way, there's the term Pnath, which is location. If you read a lot of Lovecraft, that name will be kind of familiar. So let's kill him. Let this guy attack this time. And he killed the ghoul. Let's step on his corpse. And as you can see, nothing to loot. So this is what pretty much combat looks like if you have companions. I admit it's pretty basic. It's more basic than, let's say, Ultima 4 or 5 with turn-based combat and turns and everything. This is turn-based combat, but you don't pick like a lot of different attacks or something. Let me show you what the vendor has at this point. As you can see, a dredging hook, another Khopesh, sacred clothes, which are really good for sneaking, 14 for sneaking, 10 large ruby, all this kind of stuff. And as I said, it's worth going back to him. There is more dungeons too. If we go over here, you remember this was the starting point down there in the lower right. But let us move into this direction. Here's another enemy, an Urhak. So let us attack him. He should hopefully die rather quickly. He did. And he had nothing on his corpse. And so let us move on. And as you can see, there are some doors here. Up here, for example. And this is another dungeon. This is the Vaults of Zin. And I'm actually in here for the first time. So let us just take a closer look at this. Yep, nothing here. And I don't want to explore too much, search too much, because as you can see, a lot of times I will take damage to my sanity. And let us walk through this door. It's an interesting map, I have to say. I guess the map alone will take away your sanity at some point. Just kidding. Oh, there's a treasure chest. And we've got an onyx key. And we've got a gold key. So that's pretty much that for this corner of the dungeon. So let us explore a bit more. I'm hitting the spacebar in between to explore some tiles, but to no avail right now. Let us move this way now. We hit some spikes, 5 damage. And here, this looks like stairs. Oh yeah, can actually make it to another level and to another bunch of spikes, and then we have this thing over here, which I have not encountered yet. So let's see what this is. I have. It's a ghast. Will probably... Nope, it will not talk to me. It will not speak to me if I have anything that's not a ghast with me. So let's attack. Doesn't have too much HP, but you can see it hit me for 31 damage, which is pretty bad. So let me see if my Lengai can take him out. Let's do this again. Marshal, a point. The Man of Leng is dead, right? So let's hope this guy can do it. And my enemy is demotivated, so I can try to do dialogue again. He's got nothing to trade. He's got 51 gold. And let's ask him about stuff. But I cannot understand his language. So, stealth. And I did a stealth ambush on him. It's a little silly. Then I'm just talking to him and then I go to stealth and suddenly ambush him. So if I'm like disappearing in front of his eyes. But, I have to say this game is quite a lot of fun. And I just picked up his gold. And then I stepped into a spike trap. And this ends my brief jaunt through the Great Abyss. So you will probably, like I did, die a lot. But I have to say, this game is so much fun. And you can of course kind of do the save method or saving at any point, you know, and then retry different strategy if stuff doesn't work. And I have to say, there is this I don't know, it fascinates me. The music is very nice, and this whole old school graphics, old school type stuff, it really adds a lot to the atmosphere. So I am enjoying this a lot, and I really recommend to take a look at it. There is a 3 demo on Steam, and the demo will just keep you from leveling up further at some point. And of course, you know, that kind of makes fighting harder enemies a bit more difficult. But also, this demo will give you a good idea of whether you'll enjoy the game or not, if my video didn't. So check it out, give this a chance, and you know, it's a great way to support an independent developer. I really recommend it, not only because I love Lovecraft and I find it quite interesting that someone actually made a game based on the lesser covered fantasy aspect of the Lovecraft's writing. So give this a chance, check it out, especially if you're into you know, those kind of lo-fi graphics and stuff. I am enjoying it quite a bit, I have to say, and I hope so will you. So thank you for watching, and have a wonderful day.